Hey everyone, and welcome back to the review. So in today's I'm going to be doing a review of The Hunger Games. This is a movie review, and I've never seen any of the Hunger Games movies prior to this today, or Saturday night, when I'm making this video. But Sunday when you're seeing this, but prior to Saturday night, I never seen any of the Hunger Games movies. I know they have 4 Hunger Games movies. They have The Hunger Games first one, then they have Catching Fire, and Mockingjay Part 1 and Part 2. I'm hoping to see them all. But I got Hunger Games Part 1, Hunger Games, the original Hunger Games, Uncle Thruster, for 99 cents. They had DVDs $1.99, they kept doing 50% sales every now and then. DVDs for 99 cents. And I permanently lowered 99 cents. Because this person's moving. They're not, are moving Thruster to a different location in my town. So building about half the size they own, and they're making they're gonna pay like 50% less rent, and they got like 50% less space, but they're gonna be making a ton more profit, because they got pay a ton, like instead of maybe paying $1,000 for rent, they're paying only $500 a month, and they have less space, but they'll be making, if they can flip things a lot more quicker, they can make more money, flip things a little quicker for, having lower, cheaper prices, but flipping things for, maybe it's saying selling DVDs for $1, but you can sell more of them, make more profit, you're selling more quantity to get the, get like the same price, but that's besides the point. But Hunger Games, what I think of Hunger Games, well, Hunger Games was actually a good movie, but I'm going to explain a little bit of the plot. Spoiler that pretty cool. Hunger Games is basically, a movie in which you see Katniss Everdeen, the main character, her mom, and her sister, and then you see her you see her brothers working, because they live on like a little farm, it looks like, or something like that, and she goes out every day and does bow and arrow practice, shooting practice. She hides her bow and arrow somewhere in the woods, and she goes out and shoots and deer, and then she says if she sells the deer, if she shoots the deer and shoots it, she'll sell the deer for money, and then she goes out and practices, and she ends up hitting a bird out of the sky, because a guy comes and distracts her and like talks to her and stuff like that, and then she goes and then they have this competition every year they're supposed to go to. They're supposed to get dressed up for some but they're supposed to get dressed up for some fancy event, so they go out and get dressed, and the girls because her mom goes, her sister and Katniss Everdeen goes, and then they tie their hair up, and they make their hair look fancy, and they wear like fancy outfits to they get dressed up to go to the plates, and then her sister gets picked, but then Katniss Everdeen, goes and actually volunteers for her sister, because her sister doesn't want to go and do it, and then her sister wants to go with Katniss, but the guards or whoever won't let her go with, and then she goes and she goes and does the stuff like that. She goes to the place where they're having where they're staying, like the hotel or whatever they're staying in, and they have 12, and they pick one man and one woman from each district, from all 12 districts in the little air in the 12 cities, and they do them, and then they pick, which is the best person, and they just pick at random, and stuff like that. And then when they go to them, when they're on like the train, they talk and stuff like that when they're on the train, and then they talk when they're like out of the train in like the hotel rooms and just like throughout the various parts, like talking about like like what like how to get noticed, because if you get sponsored, or like you gotta do like they basically do like a practice for a few days of the different types of like sword fight training, like bow and arrow training, like knife training, like one-on-one combat, combat like by like fist fighting combat, and then if you do like your skills, you gotta show them what you're good at, and then if you show them what you're good at, they rate you out of a score of 1 to 12, and basically the higher your score you get, the more sponsors you get, like the more items you get. You might get rope, or you might get like water bottle, or you might get more advantages. The higher scores. And then and Katniss and the other guy figured out how to get sponsored. And I don't want to spell too much more of it. I don't want to spell really much of it because most of it, because there is a big plot in the movie. There is like a big plot. There's a lot of plot I can explain because it's going to take a while, obviously, to explain this movie. Because you kind of have to see it, in order for it to to kind of understand it more. Because I tried explaining it. I've explained, this is one of those movies, like, you have to see it to believe it. Like, see it to understand it. You just can't, like, go away and say, like, oh, I can explain it to you. And this would be a movie, you'd either love it or you hate it, You'd want to watch it, even though I kind of explained it to you. It'd still be like a good movie, Or it's one of those movies where you can hop in, like, say, like, halfway through the movie, like the Bad Moms movie. You can hop in, like, halfway through it, and still like, you might not understand the full plot of it, but it'd still be like a movie you could watch, like, halfway through, say. Only half of it, the second half of the movie, and still, like, get a good kick out of it. This, you have to watch, like, the full movie in order to understand the movie, in order to understand, like, the plot, and what happens. Because there's a lot that happens, and there's stuff from in different parts of the movie that correlate to other parts of the movie, and stuff like that. But I actually did like the Hunger Games. I get that. The Hunger Games, the original Hunger Games, I guess you'd say, a 9.5 out of 10. It's really good. I don't want to get a full 10 out of 10, but it's flirting with a full 10 out of 10. It's a really good movie. The only thing that puts it back from being a 10 out of 10 was that was like a little longer. It was like it was an hour. It was 240 minutes, which is now 222 minutes, with the credits and everything, which is a little long, but and then it did seem like it should have been a little longer. It kind of did cut out a little bit on the movie. Because it looks like during certain parts somewhere in the movie they cut out like a little bit of section from it, but didn't really take away from it though. I think they were just doing that, cutting out a little bit of it. It seemed like they did, just to save like time. Because obviously, if they did that, the movie probably been like 3 hours, 3.5 hours, or they might have saved it for part 2, left it in a cliffhanger and saved it for part 2. But there's no cliffhanger in this movie, like I thought there might be, but I'm gonna have to watch Catching Fire now. This one's a good one. If I find Catching Fire now, movie in on DVD and local thrift. Next time I go, I'm gonna pick it up and watch it, or I'll just watch it Amazon Prime or something like that, because it's a really good movie. Oh, I definitely watched it again. On Amazon Prime or something, because it's good. It's a good watch. Even if you only watch it one time, it's a really, really good one-time watch. I love that movie. And I give it a 9.5 out of 10. Like I said, a high 9.5 out of 10 for Hunger Games. So, next time, I'm gonna watch Ketchup Fair. I'm not gonna part 2. I'll watch them all because these are based on books, on the books. I haven't read the books yet either, but I have to, honestly, I might start reading the books. I might get the ebook versions of these books, or I might get them, or we could get actual physical copies if I find them at like a thrift store or Goodwill or something like that. To India, you know what I'm saying? Because I want to read, because if I can see if there's a difference between the book and the movie, or which do I prefer, a book or movie? Because I know there's people that what like when I was in school, they were talking about like books and movies, and like, which do you prefer? Hey, this book came out as a movie, and they actually watched the movie, the movie, the book, like like the movie that the book that inspired this movie. And which is your favorite? Is say the Hunger Games book better than the first Hunger Games book, better than the first Hunger Games movie? Or something like that. I would talk about like teachers and kids talk about that, or like kids talk about that in like class and stuff like that. But especially with my one English teacher in high school, they talk about that, like, what was your favorite? Was the book better than the movie? Stuff like that. And so this kind of makes me want to read the books, because usually like certain books, like for example, if I watched I've seen the Harry Potter movies, like the first 5 of them, and the movies, like the book, I've read the books, but not as interesting as like the movies. Like some stuff is not as interesting in book form as it is in like the movie form. But it is actually really good movie. This might be one of those where seeing it, is better than actually like reading about it. But because in kind of reading it, you kind of have to like imagine it. You know what I mean? But just the way like they do like the animations and do all the editing and stuff like that does make it a really good movie though, too. So that's excellent. No, I'm going on a tangent, so I'm gonna stop and end the videos. Take care.